On March 23, 1974, at the Coe Palace outside San Francisco, the Grateful Dead switched on a sound system 3 stories tall, more than 600 speakers, 75 tons of equipment, 28,800 watts, pushed by 48 amplifiers that each cost more than a car. The wall of sound is the name some people gave to a super powerful, extremely accurate PA system that I designed and supervised the construction of in 1973 and 1974 for the Grateful Dead. They called it the Wall of Sound, and it did exactly what it was built to do: clean, perfect sound for every person in the building. 8 months later, it was gone.
It was a solid wall of over 600 speakers, a feat of engineering only he could dream up, let alone accomplish. The mad genius knew that sometimes you have to push the envelope, and sometimes you do it just because you can. But
It solved the biggest problem in live music, and the solution nearly bankrupted the band. By 1973, the Dead had outgrown every single sound system on Earth. That summer, they played Watkins Glen with the Allman Brothers and the band. 600,000 people, the biggest concert audience ever assembled at that point. And the technology to reach a crowd like that didn't exist. PA systems of the era were built for theaters. Push them hard enough to cover a speedway and they fed back.
Okay, let's put lots of negative feedback around it, and no matter what it measures without feedback, we'll just kill, we'll take the distortion out with the feedback.
The microphones picked up the speaker's own output, re-amplified it, and the whole system howled. The band had a second problem, and it was worse. They couldn't hear themselves. Stage monitors, the small speakers pointing back at the musicians, were fighting the main PA, adding more noise, more feedbacks, more chaos. Out front, the sound was mud. On stage, it was guesswork. Every big band in 1973 lived with this. You played stadiums, you got garbage sound. You cashed the check. Owsley's brain in material form. Owsley Bear Stanley wasn't a musician. He was a chemist. The man whose acid fueled the entire San Francisco scene, and an obsessive audio engineer who treated distortion as a personal insult. Bear pulled in Dan Healy and Mark Raisin from the Dead crew, then the heavy hitters Ron Wickersham, Rick Turner, and John Curl from Alembic, the company already building the Dead's custom guitars and electronics. Curl had worked at Ampex. These were people operating at the edge of what audio engineering could do. Their idea sounded insane. Make the PA system the monitor system. One enormous rig standing behind the band facing the audience. The musicians hear exactly what the crowd hears. No monitors, no competing systems, no delay, one source. Which created an obvious catastrophe. Put microphones in front of a wall of speakers and the feedback doesn't just howl, it eats the system alive. Bear and John Curl killed the feedback with a trick borrowed from fighter pilots. As John Curl explained, match pairs of condenser microphones, reverse polarity, subtracted from the vocal signal. Each vocalist got 2 matched condenser microphones, mounted 60 millimeters apart, wired out of phase with each other. The singer sang into the top mic. The bottom mic caught everything else: drums, guitars, the wall's own row. Subtract the bottom signal from the top, and everything the 2 mics shared cancelled out. What survived was the voice, nothing else.
the wall of sound was state of the art and changed the way technicians thought about live engineering. It was free of all distortion, served as its own monitoring system, and solved many, if not all, of the technical problems that sound engineers faced at the time.
Military avionics had used the principle for decades. Your noise-canceling headphones use it today. In 1973, nobody had pointed it at a rock concert. They built, through 1973 and into 74, 6 independent sound systems, 11 separate channels, over 600 speakers stacked 3 stories high. Each instrument got its own dedicated column, Phil Lash's bass ran on a separate channel for each of the 4 strings. No instrument shared a speaker with any other, which is why the sound stayed clean at volumes that should have been sludge.
The only problem was is it weighed 30,000 pounds, and it took a lot of people, and with people you get problems too, you know. And the band actually gave up on it after a couple of years.
Moving it took 4 semi-trailers and a 21-man crew. It was too big to set up in a day, so they built duplicate staging and leapfrog. While the band played on the wall in one city, the crew was already assembling the next rig 2 cities ahead. Transportation alone ran $100,000 a month. Our expenses are immensely high because we are into doing it as good as we can, and as the resources and desire of people to see the group grows, our plan has been to improve aesthetically the quality of the trip itself, which is the reason for the PA. As Jerry Garcia said in 1974 in an interview. At the Cow Palace debut, people at the back of the hall heard the vocals like the singer was standing next to them. No mud, no distortion, no delay towers. Clear at a quarter mile. It worked. It completely, probably worked. And it was eating the band alive. Construction cost somewhere between $300,000 and $350,000 in 1974 dollars, around $2 million today. The Dead have kept themselves poor from the beginning by putting money into sound. The Dead didn't have that kind of money. They gambled the band on it. Then came the bills for running it. 4 semis, 21 salaried crew, amplifiers with no service parts because nothing in the system was off the shelf. Power draw like a small factory. Shows that looked profitable on paper lost money by the time the wall was paid for. They toured behind the full wall of sound for 8 months, March to October 1974. That's the entire touring life of the most ambitious PA system ever built, about 40 shows. Nicholas Merriweather, the Grateful Dead archivist at UC Santa Cruz, put it flatly. The wall basically broke them financially. The wall of sound almost sent the Dead bankrupt. In October 74, the band played 5 farewell nights at Winterland and stopped. Not just the wall, everything. The Grateful Dead went on hiatus, partly because the machine they'd built to carry the music couldn't be afforded by the people playing it. When the Dead came back in 1976, they rented PA systems like everybody else, but the ideas escaped. Bear's face-canceling microphone rig became standard practice. The same thinking sits inside every noise-canceling headphone sold today. The one instrument, one path philosophy shaped how modern line array systems handle clarity. Curl, Wickersham, and Turner became legends of pro audio. The wall itself was broken up. Some pieces went into other systems. Some sat in a warehouse and brought it. A few cabinets survived in collections, fragments of a machine that existed in full for 8 months. Nobody has tried to build one since. Thank you for watching and supporting the channel. It's a great pleasure to do these videos, and if you have any ideas about good themes in rock history, drop a comment. Thank you.